grinding 14 years in school, then now you have stepped into your college environment. So that itself is a major difference that you have been exposed to, right? So you would have come with expectations. So what has been the kind of expectations that would have come into your mind? All the troubles that I've had in school, I will never have in college. I have been a very bad student in school, but now I have a great opportunity to be an exemplary student. And of course, the nagging principal will not be there. The teachers will not be annoying us anymore. And now we are going to be in a university where things are going to be absolutely different. So this must have been your fantasy, your imagination. Yes or no? Yeah. So I do not know whether it came true. Obviously, fantasies remain as fantasy and they don't become any day truth. So it is always a fantasy. So now, as adolescents, now you all have been late adolescents when you are stepping into your college. That means you are around 17 plus and not at 20. So till 19 years we call them as adolescents. So now what happens is, during this period you come with expectations, but things do not turn the same way. And also you have all come out of your sheltered environment, the so-called homes, into the college environment, where some of you would have come from faraway places to be here as students. So as students who are outside the home environment, you would suddenly feel the excitement of freedom. You need not have to be answerable to your parents anymore. Say for example, you need not tell them the minute-to-minute whereabouts of yourself. So that newfound freedom in a college environment is really, really exciting. And you come forward to look up to various kind of adventures that is possible when we have this kind of newfound freedom. And what happens in a college environment, especially when you are inside the campus, the subjects are new. It's no longer as comfortable as the school environment gives. The school gives just one textbook. That's it. If you're masters, it's fine. Then you are going to be completely into a new set of syllabus. So that comes as a surprise. For those of you who are in this age group, there is something known as the risk-taking behavior. So when your mood is completely comfortable, the risk-taking behavior turns into positive risk-taking behavior. So those of you who would not have had any exposure at cultural programs in school, now it is okay, this is the last time I'm going to be a student in a college, so let me try my hand at cultural program. So all your guitar talents or your singing talents, which has been suppressed in school because there was always another student who would excel. So that student was favored. So but now in this college you have an opportunity. So some of you will get into culturals, and some of you who have been trying to show your sports activities would definitely want to get into the sports activities. Thank you. Oh, this circle. See, I'm having a boundary here. So now, so sports activities also you become enthusiastic about the sports activities, and you are trying your best in it. But those of you who are not comfortable with the cultural activities or with the sports activities, what happens? The first weekend in a hostel environment makes you think, okay, it's exciting, but still I have not yet made good friends yet, because it's all of you are new. So in that, when that feeling sets in, you try to sort of find out whether there are any good friends available. So the same like-minded people, somehow, somewhere somebody would say, why not we go for a movie? It's really exciting. You don't have to plan with your parents anymore. You need not have to ask them the permission, right? I have to go to this movie, and this starts at 9:30 and gets over only at 1 o'clock. Is it okay, mom? Not necessary. So you find your friends and you go for a movie, and it is really, really exciting. So then the next weekend comes, the next week starts, and the college goes on. The next weekend arrives. Oh, last week we saw a movie. So what do we do this week? So what do you do after watching a movie? Oh, let us explore into the city. So we need permission to step out of the hostel. So do we have to have permission? most hostels will insist on permission, but a few of them do not. So the weekend you have a free day. So you get out into the city and get into the various malls. And it is extremely interesting in a mall, especially if you have come from outside places, and you're really stunned at the display of things. And moreover, there is an opportunity to spend time as and when you want to go there. So it is much more inviting. Then the third week starts. Oh, we have finished the cinema. We have finished the mall. So what else to do? The mood is also low. You are thinking about your home because your clothes are not washed. Your food is getting on your nerves because you're missing your mama's food and the original taste of your state food. So that is the time the mood starts falling. And then, by then you would have got into good network, friendship networks. So someone would say, you get connection with your seniors. Oh, we also went through this phase. Come on, don't worry. Now is the time you will have to start doing things which you have not done so far. So what is that? This is where your experimentation begins. So you start experimenting with various activities. What all can be these activities? You name it. Oh, come on, if you have a fag, things will be okay. Hey, come on, why not we take a drink? So the third week, introduction of the so-called ethanol, right, comes into your system. And then you start, okay, it's nice. I've never, all along I have wanted to do it, but this is the first time I got an opportunity to do it. My uncles did it, my father did it, my many other aunties in clubs used to take it, but now I have got an opportunity to do it. But I'm scared. Let me step back. But still, so what? All my seniors are doing. I'm not doing something which is wrong. I'm not doing something which others do not do. So let me take it. So that is how ethanol comes into your system. So initially it becomes only a liquid which is taken in to give you happiness from what you have been experiencing as a third week student in a hostel. So basically what I'm trying to tell you right now is, once the mood starts falling down, we start seeking ecstasy. So ecstasy is always short-lived. So what happens? This ethanol comes into our system and we know that its mechanism of action is in such a way that it stays only for a short period of time in our body. So the disinhibition, meaning the loss of inhibition that you get, the feeling of lightness that you experience, all that disappears after some time. And the next day morning you wake up, sometimes some people have headache because always the first time you're careful, you don't take much. And so you may not have a headache. Then later what happens? You are back looking at your dirty clothes. Oh my God, this is Sunday morning, I have to wash them. So, okay, hell with the clothes. Today evening, let us try again, get hold of the same friends. So initially it starts as an activity where you are seeking happiness through it. Then later what happens? Our body develops tolerance to it. Then the amount increases. Then you start really thinking, oh, I have already tried smoking alcohol, right, finish. Now what else to do? What else to do? Here in schools itself we see many boys and girls trying weeds. So the next level is, okay, let me mix tobacco and the weeds and try it out. Because there is always a person who is well versed in it, who is ready to teach us the art of mixing it. So then you get into that. Once that is done, then you start wondering, okay, let me increase the frequency of it. So why only should I wait for a weekend? Why should I wait for Friday night? I can do it every day. So that is how slowly you get into certain habits, and that habits start, they no longer remain as something which you are able to control, but they get into the way in such a way that they start controlling our body. So instead of you seeking it to have your ecstasy, later it happens that without it, your mood is absolutely low. And then what you do? Okay, all these I've been doing only with friends. But now let me do some more adventurous thing. So under the influence of alcohol, let me drive. High speed driving with the mind altering substance acting on the various neurons. So why are we doing this? Why do you think adolescents get into such kind of thing? Or the other set of boys and girls will be, they will be seeing many boys and girls mixing with each other, just one-to-one having companionship. So why not I also try that? So you get into the relationship mode. So relationship, yes or no? Get into relationships or not? The first year relationships are really mind-boggling relationship. Especially if you are coming from a boys only school or a girls only school. Exposure to the members of opposite gender is really amazing, because no one says you don't sit next to someone, or no one says that you cannot talk with each other. And the same thing, another thing is like, no one says do not get into the hostel. Though the girls hostel and the boys hostel are kept separately, there is always provision for meeting in any college. So this is always there. So you really get into the habit of relationship. And the gadget, which is the gadget that all of you have? The cell phone. The cell phone is extremely interesting, because minute to minute we can, why only minute? Second to second we can exchange messages with each other. And there are many instances when boys and girls have said, I received the first message from my girlfriend early in the morning saying good morning. And in the night, only after she wishes good night, I can go to sleep. Until then, I keep awake to receive this good night. So that is the kind of addiction that develops. Why? Because you are missing people from back home. You are not able to communicate with your own set of people. So that is the reason why the sense of belonging. So those of you who are not socially inept, what do? Log into Facebook, keep chatting all night. Or the other movie addicts, what they do? They download movie after movie, watch all through the night. So these are certain behaviors that happen. And these are characteristic of those boys and girls who are able to sort of plan themselves and cope with it. But there is the other group of boys and girls who may not be able to cope with it at all. So what do? They start withdrawing themselves. They become the silent sufferers. And they may be the ones who would just brood within their room. They may not even mix. They may not even come for lunch and dinner outside. So those are the people who are vulnerable to self-harm themselves, and they really do not know what to do. And that is the reason for many suicides that happen in the first 1 year of college life. And then coming back to the people who are externalizing in behavior, where they really do stuff like either to substances or in relationships or adventurous activities, the high-speed driving. And now we have come to an understanding that the sexualization is really very open and things like that. And in fact, one of the police officials, they did bring in this issue that there is absolutely no restriction as far as exposure of body parts is concerned. So because that is also going to give a lot of ecstasy. So ecstasy seeking becomes the norm. And why this is happening during adolescence? Why do you think it's happening? The adolescent period of brain development, there is the emotional part of the brain that only becomes really prominent. See, for example, the moment I know that I am holding a knife, I know that the knife is used to do plenty of things. One is to cut vegetables, cut fruits, as well as I can also cut my neck. So what tells me do not cut your neck? Something in the anterior part of my brain, which is known as the prefrontal cortex, that tells me don't do certain things, because every action of yours has a consequence. So this part of the brain develops only by 22, 23 years of life. So until 22, 23 years of life, Only the emotional part of the brain is in major work. So, moment you feel that my mood is low, what you do? I have to maintain my mood to be happy. So, that is the reason why you seek ecstasy. So, that is the time you will have to think, okay, would I have done it if my parents have been near me, or if the person whom I really trust, it can be anybody, because this is the period you will have mentors in your life, you would have extra parental adult role models for whom you, like it can be even a teacher in your school, like if he or she comes to know, will she be happy if I am doing? If this kind of question comes into your mind, that is the time. That is because it's an emotional question, right? Should I have to do this or not? Will my parents appreciate it? It's an emotional question. So now is the time you will have to think, okay, this is a question that has come into my mind. Does it mean that I have to wait? So once there is a question which makes you think that I am at a crossroad, should I have to go left or right? So that is the time I want you all to take a step back and think, is it going to be useful 5 years from now? Will I, or recollecting whatever I did today 5 years later? 5 years later, will I be happy to think that on this date I did this thing? So that should be the decision making thought that should come into every one of your minds, so that you can protect yourself, because life is really, it is a gift, and that has been given to us only once. So we are here to enjoy health. So it is just not physical health, it is also emotional health, it is also social health, and also keeping away from certain habits which is going to make a big difference in your future career development, as well as you're going to feel proud that I have come out of this place, though I knew there has been plenty of influences to get distracted, but still I came out without getting distracted. So that shows your strength. So wish you all the best. Have fun.